Okay. Hello, Oceanink Squiddies. Welcome back to another series match, this time between a Division 5 team, Kaiyo and T-Slots. I am joined today with Goizord. How are you doing today, Goi?
Hey, it's nice to be here.
Awesome. Alrighties. Now, I don't know really much about these two teams. They're fairly new to me, I believe. Do you know anything about them?
I know I played with Hilmar and Pipdragon in the last night in the PB actually, and I know the that EAP tag there because I played with a couple of those members last season as well. So I'm familiar with them, but not enough to be able to tell you anything of their loadouts.
Alrighties. Alrighty, so that's good to hear. I have been playing with Paddy and Hillmore for quite a bit too, so that's the only thing that I'm familiar with. Alrighties. So we do have, I skipped the map list, so we'll do that in the second one. But the first one is going to be Splat Zones at Manta Maria.
And I have to admit, the
Alrighties.
one thing that surprises me about this match is three different octo brushes and an ink brush.
Oh my goodness. Alrighties. So we do, for Splat Zones, we don't actually have any bubbles. I don't believe that is the explosion bubble. I believe so. We do see
No, that's the custom explosion, so it's got
custom
blue instead.
bubble. Yeah. Alrighty. So we do see Paddy coming in fast and furious, but we do see Fury them just managing to pick up the Splat there. Alright, we are seeing a lot of aggressive play in the middle, and it does seem to be paying off for T-Slots.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of trouble actually trying to figure out what to say right now, just because most of it's just been brushes spamming CR while looking at each of the zones. But a nice splash down there from Gabriel does take out no wait, that's not even an explosher, is it? That's a sloshing machine.
Mm-hmm.
That's another octo brush trade there. I think that's probably the third one we've seen so far.
That is true. We do see a bit of action from Hillmore, just building up the special as fast as he could. We do have now armor coming up for the team of Kaiyo. But, managing to pick up the spy against Freedom. Just the sneak attack just did not pay off.
Just wasn't able to close that distance fast enough. I think I've certainly been there a number of times where you just try and close that gap on a Hydra and it just doesn't pay off. Pipdragon goes down to a stray brush. Freedom picks up both of them, I believe.
Yes, it is. So that was going to be a double splat for the members of T-Slots. Alright, so we are seeing specials coming up now. Yeah, you were saying?
Oh, I was saying, I feel like Hilmore's pretty much just being able to contest the zone relatively free right now, just because I feel like Blubber isn't really focusing on them. They're the only real target that could reach them on their team.
And we did see the previous double splat come in as well. That was going to pick up a lot of time. And we do see the penalty reset as well. No, yeah, it should be. No, it's actually still counting down for the members of Kaiyo.
Maybe there was not able to climb out of the way of the sploosh fast enough, who's now just kind of going on a long flank that ends up not quite being able to take out Freedom there.
We do see a lot of brush action just happening with just the top. We do see Hammer, but not able to catch anything, unfortunately.
Pipdragon managed to get two of them up on their bunker now and has went to splashdown on the zone, and Freedom just walks into the splashdown by pure coincidence.
Alrighty, so we do see Pipdragon just setting up this splat after this splat. Will this be it? No, unfortunately fall down to Leah. The bobble just turns out to be on top. Gabriel coming in from behind for the sneak as well. Managed to pick up the two splats before going down. So great work to Gabriel.
Now, once again, we're stuck in a situation where Kaiyo pretty much has a very aggressive hold on mid right now, and meanwhile, T-Slots kind of has to rely on just brush sneak attacks to really try and get any splats out.
Definitely. We are seeing the specials coming up, but unfortunately the exposure has gone down before getting the 100. We are seeing specials coming
Only one
up
up
for
for
Kaiyo as well.
T-Slots right now is T-Slots, and it looks like they've had to back up now. Unfortunate Tana missile timing, however, as it looked like the sploosh was right in their face as soon as they launched it.
We are now in the remaining 1 minute. We do see the penalty now reset for the ends of Kaiyo. This will... No, it is going to be the semi-weight against Kaiyo. This will be very good for T-Slots as they can build up a lot of ink in the middle and able to catch up on that timer. Alrighty, so we do see Pip in the back, just trying to little sneaky, trying to pick up a couple of splats in there, but unfortunately falling down before the splashdown could do anything.
Sadly, 2 brushes has quite a lot of DPS if they're both swinging at you at the same time.
Definitely. We do see a raging hammer, but it's falling down to his washer, just catching that really fast. So the middle is now good and all for the members of T-Slots. They secure this in the last 10
cancelled once
seconds.
again. And then it looks like the Blubber also managed to pick up the sploosh. Now only Healmore's up, so now we're entering into overtime, and T-Slots is able to keep grabbing the penalty down. They've only got maybe... Oh, one goes down to a Splat Bomb, however. Splashdown comes down. Now the sploosh is trying to push in. They do another Splashdown, but they get cancelled.
This is...
Now Healmore goes down,
wow.
and that's a...
That is amazing to see. That is really well done. 2 T-Slots, they managed to hold it in the end there, even if the odds were against them, and they really just fought on from there.
22 on Furden now, really gotten a lot of people's faces there, along with 6 missiles, which might not have impacted the game as much.
Yes, most definitely. Well, the members of Kaiyo were taking that pretty aggressively, just going head to head with the brush and falling down over and over and time again.
And sadly, it feels like the Hydra was able to lay down a lot of turf, but I don't ultimately feel like they ended up getting a lot of splats, so I didn't pay attention to the kill counter, which ended up not really being in their favor because it felt like the ink brush against 2 octo brushes ended up being a bit of a losing situation for Kaiyo there.
Most definitely. Alrighty, so we do have our first game just done and dusted, and we'll quickly actually just go through the map list now. Between Kaiyo and T-Slots in the Division 456, we do have the Splat Zones at Manta Maria that we've already done, Tail Control at Muscle Forge Fitness, Rainmaker at Skipper Pavilion, Clan Blitz at Port Mackerel, Turf Wars at Ariana Mall, Splat Zones at Black Belly Park, Tail Control at New Albacore Hotel, Rainmaker at Snapper Canal, and the final will be Clan Blitz at Anchor V Games. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of these games just pay out.
Now, I hope whoever was on that the Kensa machine sticks with it on this map, because that kit is quite annoying to deal with on this map, as I've found out.
Most definitely. We might see something a little bit different. We might see the bolo action coming out as well. We might be seeing heavy as well. Might be seeing the splash action once again too, and maybe the brush once again. It's been proving for the last game, so we'll see.
I've definitely had situations where I've lost to brushes in tower control before. And we do see 2 still, but I think it's only 2 now.
Most definitely. We do see the double clash passes coming out for both team members as well. And we are seeing just the last ditch on the Pip Dragon, and the rest team is just pretty much normal. We see Savers as well. Bit of splats. Righties. Just on the way.
T-Slots goes 2 down, but Paddy gets hit by an unfortunate encounter with a Clash Blast. Now it looks like Kaiyo has a majority control of mid so far.
Ooh, and the splash unfortunately not be able to make it, and it does go down. We do see the members of Kaiyo just taking this really aggressively. They want to push this as far as they can while the semi-wipe is against T-Slots.
Bibi here just trying to keep people off the tower with this constant sloshing spam here. But now a Stingray coming out from their bridge now, just trying to keep this tower out of their control. Does not seemingly pick up anyone from it though.
Unfortunate. So people will have to just research, especially just a little bit, because of the respawn punisher coming in from T-Slots end. And that is going to be the semi-wipe as well.
Sot comes in and takes out Gabriel. Not really in a position to take out anyone else though.
So we are seeing a lot of pressure just going against team members on Kaiyo. The subs are proving to be pretty hefty as well. We are seeing specials coming out one by now, but we do see the double splat now against T-Slot.
T-Slots managed to get past the second checkpoint, which is pretty critical on this map. I don't know if they're going to be able to hold this momentum up now, because they've only got two up against two anchors now between the Nautilus and the Hydra, and it looks like Freedom noticed that and is swiftly gone back to mid.
That's definitely seeing a little bit of a long-range battle, and Gabriel does manage to come up on top, picking up the one splat, and Armor now coming down as well.
Hammer comes out from Paddy, but does not manage to get the kit on Sop here. But they weren't really able to escape from this 2-on-1. Now we can see Kaiyo's gone for a tower push again, but Furidum is sitting right behind first checkpoint here and has just come out on Hillmore, who had to immediately leave the tower.
Alrighty, so we do see Pips noticing a bit of the sneak coming out from T-Slot's end. Managed to pick up the splat as well. Just protecting the tower and managing to push on as well. Stingray now does come up, and hopefully that would help Pip to push up a bit more, but Sub manages to just push Pip off. We do see Inkjet now coming up as well, managing to put pressure on the end of T-Slots. We do see Paddy the only sole one on the tower, but fortune goes down.
It looks like Paddy and Freedom, have traded on tower, and now Leah is the only one up, and they're looking to just make sure the tower doesn't get anywhere near that second checkpoint again.
Most definitely, and from that wipe, the members of T-Slots were able to set up something, but unfortunately Sneak would not work, and that is going to turn
Paddy
around.
goes down to an unfortunate splat bomb.
Seems to be paying off. Members of Kaiyo putting a lot of pressure on the tower by just pressing the sub button.
Oh, I believe Gabriel just got a double there in mid, and now T-Slots has been wiped.
Alrighty, so a lot of subs coming out of this game, and this is paying off indeed very well.
I mean, the defense primarily comes from that kind of court area, so if you can just get a lot of bombs in that, you can really deny them from being able to maintain first checkpoint defense.
Alrighty, so this is paying off very well for T-Slots, as it was counter to counter via wipes, and it does not seem to be helping the team members of Kaiyo at all. They will have to pick up just a couple splats here and there and manage to push it past 26 from here on out in the last 30 seconds.
Inject coming out from Pip Dragon, but doesn't believe to have a target straight up in mind. Looks like they might just be able to find Leah on the way out though, but they've already went down to Paddy. Now, Bibi pushed in too aggressively, and now you've only really got Sot left up, and they're the only one on tower.
So we are.
Paddy did an unfortunate hammer there, which wasn't able to really get anything done, and now it looks like there's pretty much just an all-out brawl going on tower, just to make sure this overtime ends as soon as possible, and
wow,
pretty much everyone just goes down at once there. Only Pip Dragon left.
Yeah, so it's all down to Pip Dragon, and that is going to be the wipe, and that is going to be that. Ooh. Very interesting gameplay. Many members of Kaiyo just managed to do that heavy formation of all four of them on the tower, which did not pay off, unfortunately.
And you can see how there's just so many splats going on here. It's just Muscle Forge tends to be that kind of map where the pushes are just so hard to do, so everyone just goes down to mid instead.
Most definitely. There was just like a lot of subs just going out that game, and it just seems to be paying off for both teams, but T-Slot's coming up on that one though, unfortunately.
They were able to get that crucial second checkpoint past about 1/3 through the match, I believe it was. And everyone in Kaiyo just wasn't able to really maintain it, just because you could see coming from T-Slots, with all of that sub spam, they were able to kind of just control the area around the tower so much that Kaiyo just wasn't really able to manage it.
Yeah, so it has been pretty much tough. Alrighty, so maybe we might see something a little bit different in Rainmaker. It is Skipper Pavilion, and it is open as well. We do have the shortcut for the beanbag area in the middle, and we do have the ramp area to take it up as well. So maybe we might see some tenors, we might see some bubbles this time. Bit of a change compared to just the aggressive brushes that have been going on about. Or maybe we might see just the same thing really because it seems like T-Slots are very comfortable with what they are running.
Well, one thing that we did manage to see in a previous match that was recorded today was you had a stamp coming out and it went through the left push and just climbed up it, and the Rainmaker followed behind the stamp because it couldn't be shot down, and they ended up getting a 100-0 push in about 20 seconds from it. Um, Now, once again, we can see that I believe both teams. No, never mind. It's only Paddy who has the Kensa Octobrush, so we might be able to see a similar strategy coming out from them.
So we are not seeing any just quick comebacks or anything quick respawns or even just the quick super jump as well. We do see the fast semi-wipe coming down for the members of T-Slots. We're now seeing just the setup coming in for Kaiyo, so hopefully we were able to set this up.
Freedom comes out, gets a nice double. Kaiyo was just a little too grouped together. And now they've ended up being effectively wiped with only Paddy remaining up. Sadly, the Rainmaker walked right into Paddy, so it's effectively made no chance of a push happening.
So that would be the counter, and there is turf ahead, so T-Slots are able to take this up as they please. And they are choosing, I believe, to go for the shortcut. Yes, they will be.
That splashdown was a little early coming there from Pip, but Paddy was able to clean up the flick rather fast there.
Pip is able to catch up pretty fast just due to the nature of the ink brush pretty much. So that is paying off pretty well.
Unfortunate dip into the water there.
Very unfortunate for the members of T-Slots. They're going to be one down while the counter push is happening now for Kaiyo. Where do you see the Rainmaker go down and the hammer as well going down too? That is going to set
only
back.
Gabriel's really up in mid with a Hydra, which is not really a favorable position for the weapon. And they ended up going down to the blobber.
We do see the brush going on ahead, but just falling down, fortunately. And we do see, here we go, another push all happening once again, but just the same thing, repeating itself. Rainmaker just going down. We do see excellent pressure coming in now from the Hydra. Unfortunately, just falling down to the brush. This is just too much of the pressure. We do see double splats now coming out for Fury there.
Kilmer was able to take out the Rainmaker, and now Splashdown's gone down on the shield then. But ultimately, it didn't really give anything except a free pop for T-Slots.
And this is just going very much sideways right now. We can see Leah just going down through naturally.
Leah's able to get quite a bit of a runaway now.
And we do see a bit of a
Dragon wasn't really paying attention to it. Now Gabriel doesn't really notice, and Leah gets a knockout there. Very sneaky. Nobody really was able to see.
Very, very sneaky. That is the equivalent of a solid snake, pretty much.
You could almost see the evasion sign in the top right of the screen.
It's unfortunate. Maybe a bit of miscommunication for the members of Kaiyo, perhaps. But that will cost them the game 3.
You could see rather well that I believe it was Freedom who was just constantly able to well both of the brushes, I believe Paddy was the other one as well. They were both able to just constantly jump on the Rainmaker, and it meant that there was only effectively one good push that entire game, and that one ended up being the knockout.
So T-Slots able to pay off that one, just managed to pick up the splats one by one, and managed to set up a bit of ink as well. And then once the members of Kaiyo respawned, they managed to pick up another splat as well. And that's what gave them the advantage pretty much there on the ramp area.
I do see it as a bit of a misplay from Pipdragon when they decided to splash down the Rainmaker, because they effectively gave them the pop for free, and then they immediately died, so all the turf that the Rainmaker pop gave them disappeared instantly. So it really kept the momentum up for T-Slots, which they didn't really deserve.
It was just all a coincidence pretty much. Pipdragon was trying to get the splat there on Fear them, but just the wrong timing, wrong place really. So most definitely, the Auto Brush is really paying off very well for T-Slots at the moment.
They're just able to consistently get in people's faces, and I feel like we've seen we've seen Kaiyo group up a number of times with their sort of anchor playstyles there with their backlines and their. And I feel like Humor's been playing a lot of these midline weapons that kind of end up being with the backline. So when you have Sot coming in with just a brush, none of them really can do much about it, and they both go down at the same time, which is really quite unfortunate.
Hmm.
Now, in Clan Blitz Port Mackerel, we have at least 3 brush players in this lobby right now, and this map has 10 clams on each of the lanes, so I can guarantee in the first 10 seconds someone's going to have a super clam and they're going to be trying to make a push.
Most definitely, and we might be able to see that from Pip Dragon. We could just see just a nice fast lane going down there and going for the first strike, indeed. Do you see just a bit of a halt on the members of Kaiyo? They are deciding maybe a weapon change perhaps here. I believe Gabriel is doing very fine on the Hydra from before. The long range pressure is doing excellent for the members of Kaiyo as well. And maybe perhaps they might want to switch it up perhaps and get a little bit more of a short range or mid range weapons. But we'll see
If
once
they're
we
going to
enter the
switch,
match.
if they're switching between the Splatman class, I would say a heavy deco could be a possible option here.
Mhm.
Otherwise, Bullpoint is always a wonderful choice currently. So, if they chose any of those 2 weapons, I wouldn't be too surprised.
Most definitely. And we'll be able to see any balls in here as well. I believe so.
Well,
Once
they
we
did
just
quite a 180 on us and went for the sploosh instead.
yeah, it was the splashdown was definitely that instead. Alrighty, so once again we don't see any of the fast super jump as well. We don't see any of that sort of sorts. We do see the early ball climb, but just going down. Unfortunately, we do see a second one as well. 2 mounted assaults, but just going down as well.
They didn't really end up pushing in with any kind of strength on them, and they ended up just walking into their own demise, which is what just happened with Lee there, going right into a splashdown as well.
Most definitely, we're now seeing the first strike come down for Pip, managing to get it in and still surfing around the backside. Alrighty,
Teddy gets a nice double there, and is able to deliver even more clams onto the basket now. The splashdown ends up killing a Sot, or splatting rather, and then they're able to still keep the push down. Sadly, they missed the last clam though. Gabriel's coming in with a big clam, but it does not look like they're going to be able to close the gap. So a straight 100-0 push, still very respectable, but it could have been just a little bit better as well.
So that is going to be the first strike going in now for the members of Kaiyo. T-Slots will have to pick it up and go past the 50 mark for this one. Nice. Now seeing a bit of action. We do see Stingray available now. We also see Splash them also available too.
T-Slots does have pretty much all their specials ready now, except for the ink brush now. But they end up not being really great specials for pushing in because you've got rain, and 2 splashdowns and a stingray. I was thinking of the Kensa machine, sorry. And you can see when they're trying to push in, their best bet was just rain and stingray, which can hurt people, but it ends up not really being able to protect them as they push in, and it means they've got 2 wasted clams now.
Perhaps what should be done first was just maybe activate the special just a little bit further around and then just pressure with something big here and there. Unfortunately, the short range is now proving out to be on top. We do see the double splat now coming out. So we do see Pip just a little bit behind and has managed to get the score on the basket. And still surfing around but falling down to the 2 members of T-Slots.
It effectively ends up being a solo push though, because they only really managed to break penalty, and that was about it. So it looks like Kaiyo wasn't really able to follow up from Pip Dragon's essentially solo push, and it meant that you saw 1 clam, but it was thrown just a bit too early, and now effectively Kaiyo's in a pretty bad spot now where T-Slots now has a pretty decent mid control. The Ink Brush was able to get a score in then, and gets Pip Dragon with the splashdown as well. Ends up trading with Hilmore as well now, which means Aaliyah with a full 8 clams has absolute free roam on the basket, nearly closes the entire lead. And another super jump in, that's going to be lead now.
Well played for the members of T-Slots, they have played that excellently, most definitely. Stingray was a little bit too early, but it just pays off in the end, indeed. so we do see the PD clam now really coming in very hard for the counter push. We do see now hammer available for the members of Kaiyo and
Paddy's coming in with the hammer now. Ends up not being able to take out Foden, however. Just was too much of a distance. And it means pretty much a wipe on Kaiyo's side now, with only Pipdragon in mid in a rather uncomfortable position.
Alrighty, so we do see a bit of a classic chase here. We do see T-Salt's falling down. Oh, unfortunately, by the Shidow managing to pick up the splat there on Hilmore.
T-Slot dropped down onto Gabriel now, and they've ended up getting a lot of clams now. Ended up with a super clam, but they weren't able to push past a double brush brigade. And Freedom ends up trying to pick it up with another splashdown on their part, but once again wasn't able to pick it up. I feel like T-Slot's ended up focusing on that push a little too hard, and now Pipdragon's been able to get another push in.
Yes,
but they ended up doing it a bit too early because they don't really have any clams to follow it up with. Gabriel has some now, but it wasn't really able to close that gap instantly.
That was pretty close. It was just the one. And we are entering now the last 25 seconds of the match. But we do see here the ball break again, and that is going to buy time for the members of T-Slots here.
Sadly, though, they had a penalty there they did not pick up, so they could have made that into a real good score now. But, Leah does manage to come in and gets 2 extra points on the lead now. But now T-Salts is in a rather uncomfortable position where they have to stop 2 of these super clams coming in and scoring, because anyone coming in is lead. Sadly, Pipdragon is just able to sneak past. There was a lot of solo pushes in that match, and it ended up always backfiring for the team that did it. And sadly, T-Salts did one with about 30 seconds left, and it just really turned on them quite fast.
That was pretty fast indeed, and that is well played to the members of Kaiyo. Really, just paid off, really. Just the aggressive clam pushes one by one. Every time Pipdragon will get a clam ball, just goes in straight away as well. And just the pressure was just too much for the members of T-Slots. Alrighty, just a bit of a folly from before. Serve control stopped responding for some weird reason, but we are back and kicking. Alright, it's a bit of a check there, and all is good. So we're now entering our 5th game at server Ariana Mall.
I won't be surprised if we see Leah on a Bloblobber again. It's quite a powerful map mode combination for it.
Most definitely, we did notice that from game 3 as well at Skipper. It looks like this might be a bit of a sub coming for the members of T-Slots. No,
I believe it's T-Slots, yes.
Yes. No, actually, that would be Kaiyo, actually. T-Slots have older members still.
Or, wait, which... Sorry, Leah without the tag is really confusing.
Yes. Lee is on Team T-Slots. Yeah, that was a bit confusing. We do see Anima now subbing in for Kaiyo.
Anima, from memory, is mostly a charger player, so they're probably picking them just because Arowana has quite a lot of sightlines.
Alrighty. So I think now it's finally paying off for Kaiyo. The aggressive nature pushes and also the aggressive players are now paying off. So maybe they'll still continue with it, or maybe they might change it up with their sub. Alright, as we do see both members, both teams still deciding what weapons they want to run for this one. Perhaps they want to run something with a lot of ink storm or with bubbles, just something that covers the map and also counter pushes as well.
Alright, we see now pretty much everyone's already sorted, so we don't have to wait much longer for this game to start.
Alrighty, so everyone are now done and dusted with their choices, and we're going to jump straight into game number 5. We are seeing a junior and an SSP as well, and a junior for the other side too.
Very interesting comps. We also see the respawn Punisher on the Kansas Sloshing Machine. Wonder what they're going to try and do with that.
We're seeing a ninja Octobrush and also a ninja near Splish, I believe.
Gabriel was a bit unfortunate there, dropping down a little too soon. Ended up getting pincered between Leah and Furidan.
Alrighty, so
And now we can see only really Anima is up in mid for Kaiyo. Now Pip with the BR bomb as well. Ends up giving them a lot of turf control. Furidan is kind of forced to kind of juggle around. BB comes in with a splashdown, however, and takes out Gabriel. And it looks like those two specials have not really been able to change the state of mid-control just yet.
So we do see just a neutral standoff in the mid side. We are seeing Kaiyo's side is more painted compared to the members of T-Slots. So hopefully T-Slots will be able to recognize that and be able to finish painting their side of their base. Alright, so we are seeing a double splat now coming from the members of Kaiyo. That will set them back just a little bit.
Gabriel manages to get the jump on Leah, but does not really follow up with the kill, sadly. Or splat, rather.
Alright,
Now we see another BR bomb, which mostly just ends up forcing Furidan into a bad position and takes them out.
there's definitely we're now seeing Splash on now available for T-Slots. This Splash just doing beautiful work, and we are seeing the Splash now coming down, but unfortunately not getting anyone because of the ramp. And it's going to hurt just a little bit, but we're seeing the Splats now coming down anyways, so that won't really matter.
Both teams only really end up having 2 in mid now. Inkjet comes out from Anima, and I believe that's straight up into a direct on Furidan now. Bibu and Sod end up being the only ones up, but I believe Anima directs Sod as well. So in the last minute, control has changed somewhat rapidly into Kaiyo's favor.
That's definitely. We are coming down to the last 30 seconds as well. Big control is now coming down for the members of Kaiyo. If they're able to keep this, they will be able to get this game. We're seeing now just a bit of the side of T-Slots. They have recognized the pain on their base and finished doing that. We do see one down. Peep Dragon is able to set up just a super jump. We do see the Booyah now coming down. This is used very well. We are able to see it the way we see the splash down, but it just seems to be the other way around. Fury managed to pick up the splat.
Kaiyo ends up going 3 down in mid right at the end, and unfortunately the Sploosh who was trying to create havoc in their base gets shut down, so they weren't able to really get a lot of turf out. And it ended up being quite a reversal as well, once again in the last 10 to 15 seconds really, that ended up putting it into T-Slot's favor.
Beautiful work by three of them at the very last 20 seconds. Managed to pick up the 2 to 3 splats, I believe it was, and also the wipe as well, going to the members of Kaiyo. So the wipe really hurt in the end indeed. The BR bomb was used defensively, but just did not really pick up really any sort of coverage. Really was evaded very swiftly by the members of T-Slots. We are entering now our match point at Splatoon at Black Belly Skate Park.
If we see another Kensa machine, it's going to be quite effective here. Any kind of bucket really is quite powerful here. So I feel like, oh, and brushes because of all the height differences. But we're going to see how that really pays off for both teams.
Definitely. Maybe we might see something a little bit different. Maybe we might see a bit of tower control in the middle for Gabriel, using just long distance to keep the members of T-Slots away, and perhaps some bubbles as well. So we will see once we jump into the game.
And we do see a Tenebrella. That's quite an interesting pick. Otherwise, there's still four brushes. Never mind. But yeah, a Tenebrella and a sloshing machine. So very interested to see what that Brella ends up doing here. It's the Sorella variant as well, which means it's got the instead of bubbles, it's got the curling rush. Straight away, we see both the brushes were sitting. That's DC. That makes sense.
Ah, I see. Alrighties.
But we do see a sneak peek at their comps here with the ballpoint coming in from Anima to try and keep good range control and to try and shut down all the opponents from jumping out. While you've got the you can see. I believe Gabriel just demonstrated what their plan was with the curling rush, launch it from the tower in mid, and to try and keep all the zones under control. So we'll see if that comes into play in the actual match.
Most definitely. We do see beacons, so that will be able to help their positioning out a bit. Missiles as well. We are seeing the splashdown and also the ink storm too. While the other side is going to be hammer once again. Dragon on the crush.
What interests me the most is T-Slots ended up picking double Octobrush Naval, so they're running double beacon, double Tenor Missile, which I feel like the only reason they want to use Tenor Missiles here is to try and get nasty kills on people trying to climb up the tower, because it's going to be ultimately effective is people don't really stand in zone that much, so you can't really capture it with it. And that puts T-Slots in an uncomfortable position here where really Splashdown and Rain are their only two options to really try and keep to try and break back into the zone, while Kaiyo was there with a Splashdown. No, I think it was even two Splashdowns, a Curling Rush and Rain. So it did put them into a slightly more favorable position.
I don't think Petty has noticed that the T-Slots customers haven't joined, so...
This lobby might be disbanded.
Alright, it's most definitely a little bit too hasty on the A button there. Just wanted to jump straight back into the action. Alright, so there we have the connection lost. So very interesting choices for the match point. So definitely we'll have to see that pay off.
I will be very interested to see if they're able to effectively use double missile to their advantage. Yeah. It just in my mind it does not seem like it'll pay off.
That's definitely. Sorry, but the score issue did not settle that right. It should be the other way around. Don't know why this is happening actually. It still shows the other way around for some reason. No, yes, no. Oh, I think surf control is just not responding, perhaps. Could be the reason why it is doing that. I'll have to reboot it up once again.
Well, we've got a bit of time now.
Alright, so we'll get that first before joining, just straight back into that. Alright. I'll have to also refresh. Alright, as there we have it. It is now back up and available. Alright, so I'm going to join once again.
Sorry if that appeared on mic.
That's fine. Alrighty, so we do have everyone now. Alright, we will be replaying the Splatoon said back belly skate park.
There's definitely a lot of interesting picks there. I also feel like the Sorella Tenter is an interesting one because ultimately I feel like their main goal seemingly is just to rain down curling bombs from the tower in mid, but ultimately a silver arrow spray would probably get that job done faster. Um, so we'll see how well that weapon pick is able to pay off.
Most definitely. Already, really just Petty just left and back into it. Alrighty, he's jumping down straight back into it. Do you see Petty taking the left side of the courtyard? Do you see tower control now coming up for T-Slots? It's definitely going to be in their favor. Gabriel now coming up as well, trying to contest it. But unfortunately, there's going to be a double split triple. Actually, a sunny
Kaiyo
wipe.
was immediately 3 down, but Anima is able to kind of just keep their ground under control and does not, well, does jump out, but does not die in the process. Now we can see Leah's holding a fairly forward position here with the Blob Lobber and is trying to catch out people, but wasn't really able to get anyone out of it now. Pipdragon went for a splashdown with the zone, takes out Froodum, and I believe Sot went down for unrelated reasons. Now the Curling Bomb Rush is coming out, and it looks like Kaiyo is going to be able to get control, and there's a DC.
Once again.
But it was 3D, but I believe they can't reset it, so they're going to play on from now. I think... Let me double check the DC rules on this one. I believe they only get one free replay per match, though.
Pretty sure I had the same situation twice and they replayed it twice, so it'll have to be the third time around, I believe. But from this point on,
Well, I mean, it ultimately,
yeah,
if everyone in the lobby is fine with the replay, then
yeah,
it is fine.
yeah, it is pretty
So,
much fine as well.
bit of an unfortunate situation, though.
Yeah. We do see a little bit of this, another squid bag party. And we do see just Lee just doing her own thing. Amazing.
Patty just showing off how strong their arms are, pretty much.
And Octoling's arms is very, very strong to throw a very big hammer indeed. Alrighty, so at this point, Paddy should perhaps be giving the host control to T-Sloz, just so that it can improve. No, sorry, actually that was the member Kyle, wasn't it? That's fine, but they can do so if they like to. It might improve the connection, perhaps.
It could also just be that the curling rush is causing DCs. I know some people have issues where certain special activations can DC them, which could be the case.
That could be the case indeed. Alrighty, so everyone now is back into it, and we're just going to go straight into it pretty much. Alrighty, first time to charm, and hopefully this time it will be it, and we can see a match going on.
I would enjoy that as well.
Alright, so we're seeing a bit of a route change, but we are seeing the same mid control as well coming for T-Slots as well. You see Pip now coming from the back, just making her way very slowly indeed.
T-Slots ended up being 2 down, but nobody is really daring to approach a tower with 2 brushes on it, so they've ended up being able to maintain a fairly aggressive mid control for free, pretty much.
Unfortunately, there won't be any setup. 40 members of Kaiyo and Pip Dragon will be falling down. So we do see the control map coming down for T-Slots once again. We do see beacons now in the mid too. And we do see the semi-wipe as well against the
Oh,
Dragon.
there's a DC again. I think at this point they're just going to play on because, you know, when you have to say 4th times the charm, you might get a little bit tired.
Yes, most definitely.
Anima gets flanked by Furidim, and now Paddy's trying to climb up on the tower. Furidim didn't really enjoy that beacon getting destroyed there.
Alright, so we do see a bit of a neutral slot, and we do see Pip Dragon coming in hot, but just managed to pick up the
It was a bit of a
splat.
brush war going on there, and it looks like Sot is now the only one who's really alive at the end of it all.
We see a bit of a contest just happening on the other side as well. You see Anima now recognizing where the members of T-Slots are. But will be falling.
Anima not able to jump out fast enough despite that main of quick super jump, and now Pip Dragon ends up being the only one who's really up again. Looks like they're going to go for a splashdown on the enemy zone once again to try and destabilize it, but they're ultimately left up alone in mid, and it doesn't look like they're really going to be able to keep the zone under control.
Yeah, we do see Pip just getting cornered, and that would be that. Game, set, and match.
It's a bit unfortunate DCs ended up meaning the last match was unable to really be completed, but nevertheless, it does seem like 2 Octobrush Navals did manage to win that one, so...
We did see the double brush pretty much just pay off, and what's that really? We saw pretty much 3 times in a row T-Slots were able to get to the mid tower really fast, and that proved to be the advantage point pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, the main issue was the bull point isn't able to really roll out fast enough to take the tower, and the Tenebrella isn't either, which means that you've basically got 4 brushes that are just going to rush to try and take tower, and that's pretty much how the rollouts ended up going most times.
And that would be that connection is lost, and that is that. Thank you for joining me today, Goizord.
Yeah, no worries. I had fun here, despite the 3rd time on that last match there. But DCs happen. What can you do about it?
Yes, that is a common occurrence in Australia. Our internet is not the best, but we deal with it pretty much as best as we can.